Hey Millie, what about you, girl? How's tricks? Can you imagine another live stream so soon? Well, if you'd see what I've seen, you'd be live streaming too. Just going to wait for a few people to come in. But basically, we're going to question, why does the chicken cross the road? All right, Tag. Why did the chicken cross the road, folks? That's what the night stream is all about. And I have to make a wee disclaimer here, so I do. But I'll wait a few people come in first. And because I want to make sure as many people hear it as possible. So I meant to start up a bit earlier than what I have done. Yeah, nobody built the wall. You're dead on, Miller. Yeah, I meant to start up a bit earlier, but the freaking, what do you call it? I had to do updates on the freaking laptop, man. Was not expecting it. The same laptop that Liz Cannon wonders who paid for. He wants me to prove to him who paid for my laptop. Are you kidding me? Who bought your phone, Liz Cannon? Who pays for your internet? Does Tito do that? Because you seem to mirror all his stuff. So there's quite a few people live streaming at the minute, so there is, surprisingly enough. But I felt I couldn't miss this one. It's fresh off the press. Well, maybe yesterday off the press. So I'm pretty sure everybody like myself has started to notice all these channels around us talking about flat Earth all of a sudden. You know, it's become a topic where people are coming out and saying, well, if it was really forced to, I would have to go with flat Earth. You know, making those type of calls and that type of thing. You know, whereas before they were calling everybody flat tires. So it's a wee bit amusing, but that's not why I'm making the stream, because people are talking about flat Earth as such. This is all to do about crossovers, folks. Crossovers, you know. And simple answer is chicken cross the road, get the other side. As Tag pointed out. So it's been an eventful couple of days since I had normally streams, you know, as quickly as this. But I felt it was just some things that were too funny. And I felt that a narrative was being started to be put out there for people to take in and start building on. And I see people, bigger channels, starting to talk about it right now, even as I'm speaking. So I definitely said to myself, okay, so the big channels are going to talk about this narrative. They're promoting this narrative. Yeah, it's all a bit suspect to me because listen, see the people putting these narratives out, they really take us lot for idiots. They think both. They think we're freaking, you know. And then whenever we're kind of, when we start talking about it, they'll come and say we're lunatics, we're clowns, we're this, we're that, and they'll disrupt us. So we disclaimer here first. The other night when I was streaming, I was talking about the Masonic lodges and stuff like that there, and I didn't believe a nailed down Pacific as fact, but and I said I think when I do these streams, I'm basically relaying back what I've seen, and I wouldn't call them as factual, you know, compared to when I put a video out. When I put a video out, I know that it's 100% sound. So back to the point, I had been talking about these Masonic lodges, and I referenced that the Irish Masonic Lodge was the oldest one, blah, blah, blah. And there was a video that was brought out by this Cannon. The next day said Scooby Doo and more lies or something like, and his lies or something like that there. And it was all about me talking about the Irish Freemasons. So basically, I'd said about the lodges being the oldest one and all this here stuff. When I what I should have said is the Grand Lodge of Ireland is the second most senior Grand Lodge in the world and the oldest in continuous existence. Grand Lodge is very different from just a lodge, and I actually meant to be talking about the Grand Lodge, not just an ordinary lodge. But for anybody who wishes to fact check this, let me see. I will drop a little link for you in the chat, and whoever wishes to go and look that up, they will be able to see that I was not lying, that it was factual. I just left out the grand part. But of course, the trolls, the drama, it's what they like to do. They want to try and stall your channel. They want to stunt its growth. They want to try and humiliate you any which way they can. So, that this wee bit is just for Liz Cannon there himself. Now, I'm going to talk about an article I come across the other day or today, and I'm going to do a screen share, but I'll drop a link anyway in the chat. So if anybody wants to look at what I'm reading through the link or wants to go to the link later on, they can do so here. This is what we're going to be talking about. An article on TheVerge.com. Dun, dun, dun. Sovereign, I unblocked everybody. Basically, like I said, I normally do unblock people that's been blocked during the stream or whatever. There was actually about, I don't know, there was a whole list of different sovereigns there, so there was, that was blocked. Not from the last stream the other night, but from the stream before, I guess. But it's got to the point now, it's hard to know who's who because people are making sub accounts of other people's accounts. And it's like, wow, how childish, you know. But anyway, so I'm going to try and do a screen share here. And can we can get it up. We can work this out. Screen share. Dun dun dun. I'm going to go here. Just before I do, I'll go back to here. Can everybody hear me still okay? And see what I see? If someone could indicate to me that you can still hear me, and okay, you hear me, and you can see what I'm saying. Oh, sure, that's why. Sorry. Dun dun dun. Okay, can you see now? Yeah, you can't see. That's all right. Right, I'm going to get back to this. Give us a wee second or two here for the delay. So basically, this article, it's on a website called The Verge. I don't know much history about it. Entertainment video, blah blah blah. And basically, it's about Logan Paul upcoming Flat Earth documentary, and it demonstrates apparently YouTube's double standard on conspiracy theories. As you all know, a few months ago, Logan Paul popped up at a Flat Earth conference, and he came out of the closet saying he believed in Flat Earth. And the article is this. I'll read it for you too anyway. You'll have to excuse my reading them. As YouTube tries to crack down on conspiracy theories, some of its biggest creators are using them to bring in views and ad revenue. Now, where have we heard that before? Some of its biggest creators are using conspiracy theories to bring in views and ad revenue. Who's been talking about that? Logan Paul released a trailer today for a documentary-style video that goes into a Flat Earth convention, which ends with Paul stating, "I think I'm coming out of the Flat Earth closet." The video arrives just 2 months after Shane Dawson, another of YouTube's largest creators, released a two-part, 3+hour series exploring a number of different conspiracies, such as the California wildfires were intensely set. Both creators' conspiracy videos brought in huge numbers of views in just one day. The trailer for Paul's conspiracy video has brought to close to 1 million views alone. Dawson's two videos collectively have brought more than 62 million views. Think about that, 62 million views, one creator. Wow. I haven't watched this video, so I don't know what it is, but still 62 million views. Holy moly. That's a lot of people. They each play into the madness around those theories and present them as views worth exploring rather than outright falsehoods. So basically, we better crime here because, these conspiracy theories should be debunked rather than shown as something we should be looking into. Less than 2 months ago, YouTube said it would begin to limit the reach of misinformation, including videos claiming the Earth is flat. Yet, in the statement to The Verge, YouTube declined to comment on whether Paul's video would be impacted by those recommendation changes and said that the video wouldn't run with an information panel to outright dispel the flat Earth conspiracy theory. So, what the aim is, if he puts up a video about flat Earth, there'll be a panel below giving suggestions on I suppose other videos or something that dispel or debunk flat Earth and make it look like an idiot. And it just so happens to be that there is a lot of those videos out there. YouTube has made it clear that conspiracy theory documentaries, even those that play into conspiracies like Dawson and Paul's, are still acceptable on the site. Dawson videos have multiple ads and they appear on YouTube's front page. And when they were first released, they only placed Dawson's videos, didn't show up with YouTube's trending section, but even that's a plight that caught the attention of YouTube CEO, who agreed to sit down with Dawson and to discuss how the section works. Dawson and Paul are both part of Google's AdSense program, which means they earn advertising revenue for their videos. YouTube has been careful about what videos get to run ads, and its guidelines for both advertisers and creators that don't seem to apply here. So again, this is basically starting to sound like an article that's really complaining about these conspiracy videos like flat Earth and stuff like that are putting videos out. They're making money, and they should be seen as absolute nonsense and shouldn't be allowed on the platform. And people really shouldn't be allowed to make money from it. That's more or less what I'm getting from this. But it gets even deeper here. Even if Paul and Dawson make light of conspiracy theories, this style of humor can still be dangerous. You know your meme editor in 2017 about flat Earth memes when they became a viral fixation on platforms like Reddit. The flat Earth memes or a documenter like Paul can attract people who are looking to believe in these kind of things, looking for things to confirm what they believe. Watching these videos also risks sending viewers down a recommendation rabbit hole that ends with much more blatant conspiracy theory peddling. So, what they're more or less saying here is stuff like flat Earth. People come and watch it. You know, they're being told to be open minded, have a look at it, think about it. People are starting to sway. There's no panel below giving people the option to view debunking videos as such. And what they're afraid of is people that start off watching a flat Earth video will then spiral into a rabbit hole and start watching other freaking conspiracy theories like, I don't know, blue chickens, get a wee bit carried away with themselves and do something a little bit crazy, maybe. I mean, I certainly know a group of people who've been promoting this message recently. That group of people is FK and Freddie and Canada and OG and things like that. There, this is the more or less the backdrop of their message of YouTube psychosis. Get off YouTube. We're leaving YouTube. If you have any sense, these are all retards and all the rest of it. This is the language that they use, call us goofs and all this stuff. And I just find it interesting that while they're working that angle amongst the community, you now have articles appearing in, you know, on the internet stating more or less the exact same thing. And I find that absolutely mind blowing because you'd almost feel like there's a wee bit of a conspiracy going on there, you know? So, you know, what do you do with that? I mean, what are you supposed to think of that? Okay, there was no picker, or there was a pitcher. I don't know. Were you able to get that? Did everybody abandon me? Well, that article in relation to what all these other channels that are out there, which I would call questionable at the very least, questionable behavior. They're pumping more or less the same message as what's being pumped in the internet media there. You know, people are writing stories about it, complaining about the same thing. And it's a big topic. And maybe this is why the likes of Logan Paul and all is involved with this to make sure that there is a crackdown. I don't know. It's a little bit, skeptical. That's not the only thing. Why all this flat Earth thing comes into view. Um, you know, we've seen other things where people are crossing over from, appearing at a flat Earth conference, you know, advertising themselves in a flat Earth conference, and then coming back to this side of YouTube and being an anti-flat Earther. And these people all seem to be linked with each other. Um, you have a video out there. Let's see if we can find a link for it. But basically, it shows Patricia Steer and Magic Kool-Aid together in the video. He's talking to her on camera. He introduces himself as a troll during the Flat Earth conference. And now, whenever you go to this, now he's not a flat earther at all, like, and he'd be against the message. So it seems to me that there seems to be a side that we're deliberately crossing over to build up a for and an against narrative to do all this flat earth thing. And this is the same thing that we're seeing happening amongst us. People are coming and going, they're crossing over and then they're jumping over to another side, and there seems to be a for and against. Now, I understand myself that people may be a bit skeptical of me, and I'm okay with that because of the fact that when this whole thing started out over basically Dave T on the internet, I'd made a video and basically, joined up with Freddie and OG. So I can understand why people would possibly be skeptical of me now because I do have that connection with them. Um, Time will tell. I guess will prove me right. Um, that connection no longer exists. Um, but I can understand if people would think that way or would question it. So we're definitely seeing a narrative being pumped out at the minute that I don't even think it's about the subject flat Earth. I think it's basically about going after conspiracy theories because while they talk about flat Earth, they also bring in transvestigations and things like that. There, they bring in other conspiracies as well, and a lot of these transvestigations, a lot of them seem to me anyway, seems to be a lot of useful, intelligent information, and it's more along the lines of how our younger generation, the young adults coming through, 18-year-olds, 19, 20-year-olds, have now more or less been taught that it's normal, it's okay to mutilate, cut themselves up so they can look like a male or alternatively a female. And that this is seen as now normal behavior and should be accepted. And I don't know, because I'm not a woman, but I do have a friend who went through breast cancer and had to get a mastectomy, is it called? And I can tell you now that that absolutely, you know, it crushed her, absolutely crushed her. And it was an extremely difficult thing for her to recover from, not so much physically, but mentally and emotionally. Um, and to see younger women, coming through and having these mastectomies, and a few weeks later, or even a couple of hours later, showing a photograph of their new image with the drain tubes hanging out of them and stuff like that. There, it's so difficult to watch. It's so disturbing. Um, because I'm now in my mid 40s, and when I was in my 20s, I never couldn't imagine ever getting that age, this age. It seemed a million miles away, and I can't imagine there's going to be too many. If you think it's bad, a lot of people get tattoos when they're younger, and by the time they're in their 40s, they kind of regret them a little bit, or they end up a bit messy and things like that. And I end up regretting them anyway. And you know, you can always kind of do something about that, but the type of changes that our younger generation are making on themselves in the name of, well, it's normal, or and things like that there, is disturbing. Oh man, that's my phone. Apologies about this. For 2 seconds. Uh, Sorry about the delay there, folks. A little bit of a emergency as such. Tell you about it later. Uh, we are free to just wondering, do you believe in the Q cards? I haven't followed um, anything about Q, to be honest with you, because it wasn't really my thing. This whole leaving you hanging and guessing and puzzle and trying to decipher this and all the rest of it. It's not my cup of tea, so I never followed it. But at the end of the day, um, I mean, if people want to follow it, who am I to judge them? Like, I mean, if you don't believe in it, or if I was to look into it and come up with the idea or the conclusion of it's a load of nonsense, I don't believe in it. That's my opinion, I suppose. And the people who do believe in it, they're entitled to their opinion. I mean, listen, it's like Dave T. Here's the thing: I categorically was able to prove beyond shadow of doubt what Dave T was. And I showed that to some of his subs. Now, some of his subs saw my video and said, boom, I'm glad I've seen this. I didn't know. And unsub from him. And other of his subs came and attacked me, you know, calling me a liar and all the names of his son and all the rest of it. Now, I know for a fact, with beyond reason of doubt, there's no doubt, I'm 100% on this, that that what I proved in that video was 100%, and people don't believe it, and some people do believe it. Now that's something that I know is 100%. So when people come along, um, when you come along and people will say, "Well, it's real," and I'm saying, "Well, it's not real." At the end of the day, I guess it really doesn't matter. Whereas on the subject of Net for Truth, it kind of does matter. But you see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're not going to be able. You could make a million videos, millions of millions. You could pump out videos all day long, debunking all this, and people are not going to believe. Or you could put out videos. If somebody was to drop the video today, somebody come out today and said, "Boom, I'm Q," and say for talk's sake, it ended up being your man Bannon, right? I'm just pulling that out of the air, by the way, for anyone that's listening. Your man Bannon comes forward and says, "I'm Q. I'm behind this. I did the things. A couple of other people helped me do it, but I'm Q, and what I'm doing is real and trying to do it." How many people would believe him? How many people would still say it's bullshit? You know, it's that's the whole thing about conspiracies. In the JFK shooting, there's like there's like at least 4 or 5 strong theories there of what happened, and each one of them all swear they're right. And I guess at the end of the day, the only thing that you can be sure about is the guy was shot. That's the one thing that can't be put in faked. Although there's people now saying it was faked. It's a nonsense. You see, I think I've seen a big downturn, a big. I've seen things really change in the community, like 2015, 2016. I've watched channels disappear, a lot of good channels, a lot of channels that used to hold the Democrats, the coals to the fire, etc., like that there. Um, and they're not there anymore. And we've been left with a load of channels who citizen journalism, you know, use Wikipedia as fact, repeat news sites as truth, etc., and don't do research, copy other people's work, plagiarize, all that other stuff. It's all just, it's turned into a right mess. And I don't recall seeing a lot of, I don't remember seeing anti JFK shooting channels, you know, or, anti NASA's channels and things like that there. And, now we've got we've got just as much firepower against the conspiracies as what we do for them. And I believe that's deliberate. I believe it's, I think it's being censored. I think this is all about censorship, the nuts and bolts of it. Like Brexit, Lisa, has turned into a right mess. Um, it doesn't look like Brexit is going to go through. It doesn't look like we're going to get it, and it all harbors on the agreement on the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. If there's to be a Brexit, we want a hard border, and Europe is not willing to accept that, apparently. And I'm like, personally, I'd be like, well, wow, what's Europe got to do with it? Why would they have a say in what goes on the UK? If they're not happy, who cares? They're not our government. We're a sovereign nation as such. But it turns out that, and then the DUP, the unionist politicians in Northern Ireland, they're not going to support it if there's not a hard border, if there's a soft border, meaning no immigration, etc., like that there, control. Basically, they're not going to give the Tories the vote to push Brexit through, which I don't blame them. I don't blame them, like. But basically, this not going through, Brexit is an interesting subject. Brexit not going through is a big problem for the government because um, the country voted. There was a vote. The majority won, and the majority wanted a Brexit. And it is up to the government. It is the government's place to implement what the majority want, basically. It's not their position to hem and haw. The government is there to fulfill the needs of the people, the rights of the people. And if they don't do this, it can be seen as treason, betraying the voters. And I don't know what will happen then. I don't know how far the line that will go down to. I don't think anybody will be, off with their head in the Tower of London or anything like that there. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I don't believe Brexit's going to happen. Not at all. Um, so it's all getting a little bit. They've dragged it out for over 2 years now, and in fact, it's nearly 3 years. The season is supposed to be at the end of March here, but I don't understand how Europe can turn around and say, "Well, we're not accepting this." What the hell's it got to do with Europe? That's like you and Mexico, America and Mexico, joining up, and then the Americans saying, "No, actually, we don't have anything. We don't. We want to have the wall here," and the Mexicans saying, "No, you're not putting it up." Well, do you think Americans are going to stand flat and say, "Well, we don't care what you want. We're putting it up." End of story. So I don't understand how the European Parliament, or whatever they call themselves, are able to turn around and say, "We're not happy with this, it's not going through." I don't get that. Um, so it's pretty disturbing, the whole 9 yards. Like, I don't understand at all how that works. I'm not really in the politics because, as I kind of explained before, politics in Northern Ireland do not go down too well. It can get you into a lot of bother. So most people just bury their head in the sand, to be honest with you. But when it comes to big things like, you know, stuff like Brexit now, I suppose you have to try and pay attention. But it is a mess, and Brexit should go through, and it shouldn't be because of what the European government says is entitled to. Hey, Lady Court, what it's going to be happy with, because at the end of the day, they're not the ones living here, and they're the reason why we want out of it in the first place. So, yeah, it's an interesting but boring subject because you don't get anywhere with it, and nobody really has any answers. So, I don't. But we've definitely seen the community change. We're seeing we're seeing games being played in this platform. Um, while we're on the subject of DFT, there's another sickening thing as well. Uh, Fully sourced happened to be live streaming today, and I happened to click on it and watch a bit of it. And in his live stream, he was talking to what he described himself as a child, young girl, on his live stream. They were doing via Hangout or something like that there because you could see her image was on the screen while he was talking to her. And he was, I think she made a video, one of these Momo videos, and he was commenting on her video, praising her work, giving her wee suggestions, uh, effing and blinding and things like that there. And at the same time, he was drinking, you know. Well, all these things are not a crime, I guess, but I think it looked really inappropriate. And considering the history of Mr. Gunk and with the 15-year-old and the pictures being sent, I thought, wow, how inappropriate that he would be doing this now. Now, funnily enough, I was blocked from his channel. I did try commenting. He ignored a comment and then he blocked me basically. But there was one other person there who actually turned around and said, "Do you not think this is inappropriate? You know, she's just a child." And that's when fully sourced, aka Gunk, you know, referenced her to being a child. I kind of turned my stomach a bit because of the history and know of the guy. So, you know, I did what all you can do, and that's report. I reported it for what I thought it was. Um, I found it disturbing. And what Gunk does, you see, when he streams, it streams isn't like mine, where you can, rewind my stream and stuff like that. His doesn't work like that. There's no delay and there's no rewind, on his, and he doesn't upload it afterwards. So unless you happen to catch the stream at the time, you'll never know what was going on. And that's how I caught him out the last time when he was telling one of his subscribers who'd come into the room talking about she had found she'd found some type of child pornography on Tumblr, I believe it was, and he told her not to report it because he was investigating it. Now, at the time, I was on my laptop, so I was able to, screenshot it, or not screenshot it, screen record. I was able to record it, which I did. That is what started everything off. With the whole Gunk and Freddie going on about I sold out and all the rest of it. I put my video up, and Gunk saw it. One of his users or subscribed to me, or his subs subbed to me, and he stopped streaming straight away. And then the next time when he streamed, that's whenever we learned about the kid, the poor snuff video kid. And he said that, oh, I was talking about this, you know. But that was more or less like a caught out, and he tried to cover his track and made a mess of it. And then, of course, as everybody knows, that's what led on to the lark of the $10,000 GoFundMe. So I got that video struck. I still have all that video there. I've offered it to a few channels and nobody's interested because basically the way I see it, it's catching a major channel, manipulating people, manipulating and basically LARPing for money. He is one of these people that is guilty of leading people down a rabbit hole and taking advantage of them for profit. But nobody is interested in it. None of these big channels are interested in talking about it or putting it up there. So I'm deliberately making another channel, a Scooby-Doo Part 2 channel, where I will put it up, and if it gets took down, it gets took down. And what I'm going to be doing in future is basically, it's not so much going to be a backup channel. It's going to be a channel. Scooby-Doo Part 2 is going to be a channel where I upload all my videos. And this channel is going to remain a channel that are live stream from. A live stream from. It's kind of trying to protect myself a wee bit. Hi, Toto. It's trying to protect myself a wee bit because I know the things that I'm going to get put up is probably going to get struck. So I figure if I do it this way, I can keep in touch with you better through this channel and refer you to the other one with the videos. And put you over there. So in the next day or so, I'll be making another channel and putting that up where all my video content will be going to. Now, obviously, not everybody will be subscribed to it. So what I'll do is when I put a video up, I'll put a wee notice. I'll drop a notice on this channel to inform people to go check out the video until people get subscribed to it. So basically, this will more or less just become a live streaming channel, and the other one, the video channel. And speaking of channels, now some of you may remember before Christmas, before I got a little bit ill and wasn't able to come on, I'd made a Discord, I'd invited people to Discord beyond Thunderdome or whatever it was. And basically, it talked about doing a community channel back then. And that's kind of where it left off. Now, since after the whole craziness after I did come back. You know, people trying to suggest that I was LARPing with death and things like that. There, I mean, I don't know how you LARP that if you don't have any. You know, I wasn't here. A LARP means you have to partake in something. You know, live action role. You know, so um, the way things kind of got a wee bit crazy there and all the rest of it, I thought to myself, and the way my Discord went to crazy places as well, and I ended up having to close it down, which had opened up with the idea of anybody who were interested in the community channel, join the Discord. See you later, we are free. Join the Discord, and we'll take it from there. Well, the Discord went to the wall, and the community channel went to the wall. So what I decided to do was basically there is going to be a community channel of sorts. I am starting up the channel. I will be collaborating with Kickstand in making videos uh, for that channel. Now, the videos and content will be about proper topics. It won't be about talking about, you know, what I see in YouTube. It will be trying to cut through the basically the chaff to get to the wheat type stuff, you know. So one of the things, as I said, I was interested in doing was trying to work out where this. Yeah, I know. I did a video on that Kickstarter, why it was called Discord, and why the people that made it called it that. Um, but it was mainly me. It was built for the gaming community. Like they never foresaw, you know, people from YouTube using it and things like that. There, but this time though, I won't be doing a Discord, so I won't. Um, Instead, what I will be looking to do is um, when we put the videos up, maybe at the weekend or a few days later after people have had a chance to watch them, of doing like a live hangout on it where myself and Kick, there's a couple of other people as well interested in doing it with us as well. I mean, it's not just about me. The idea behind this is basically it's not any one person. You know, there's nobody getting glory here. There's nobody financially benefiting from it. This is basically a group of people getting together who are tired of everybody. Um, the creators have stopped creating. You know, I am not a YouTube creator, folks. I never was. You know, I put out a video and it kind of went from there. But I kind of, whenever you know, you may remember I did Wanker of the Week and things like that there, I like to have a laugh and a joke. And a lot of people that came there watching it had a laugh and a joke with me. And it was fun times, but that wasn't apparently welcome in the Trips community either. So basically, trying to find a way or find a system where people can work together. No one person is taking the glory, and it's about a group rather than a single person. It's about group think rather than one person's opinion. So that's the plans for that. I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest with you. I'm sure anybody who has been about and knows the type of videos that Kickstand does. It's quite witty, quite funny. and whatnot. So, and this isn't, you know, there's no one person has control of the channel either. So that's going to go ahead. I haven't named it yet. It hasn't been named. We've just kind of talked about things. I went through a few ideas. There's Renee. Hey, Renee. And that's where that's going. It is going to happen. Um, and at the same time, I don't expect everybody to be, falling all over it or anything like that there. But as time goes on, I'm kind of hoping that more YouTube creators may be interested in putting their work up on the channel too. And as I said, it's not about because listen, I'm still going to run my channel. I'm still going to come on here and talk about what I see in YouTube. But it's more about trying to get YouTube creators in one place, putting their work together. You know, working together rather than against each other, because I feel that's what these people want. They want us against each other. Now I realize I'm not stupid. I realize in this community there's a lot of crossover amongst the subscribers. The subscribers subscribe to me, to Titus, to Lift the Veil, etc. Things like that there. I realize that there, and I don't believe anybody really should be, you know, well, I don't want you around here because you watch Lift the Veil. I don't think it should be like that at all. Because at the end of the day, people can only watch what what's put in front of them, and that's why I like this idea of a group think, a group channel, and maybe trying to get a bit of spirit, a bit of really trying to get a wee bit of breathe a wee bit of life back into this community around here. I'm not going to call it a truth community because it's more of a conspiracy community. So that's the plans for that. Those channels will be made pretty soon. As soon as they're up, I'll get a video out on it and I'll announce it. And I'm sure Kick will announce it as well on her channel. So anybody who's following us will be able to find it pretty easy. Any videos that I put up on it, I won't be putting up on my own channel. So I won't. So that particular topic or whatever that I'm talking about will only be able to be seen there. I won't be putting it up on my own. I still be doing videos on my channel, just not, I'm using my channel for, well, my wee opinion, how I see things. I went there, what I see going on. Now at the weekend there, you may have noticed, or you may remember if any of you were about listening, things like that there. I talked about how a lot of these channels like OG and not Winter, sorry, that's a slip of tongue there because I'm looking at your name. Canada and Tidor, and I reckon they're all linked together. And sure enough, we know the likes of Titus Frost. I mean, I told you how Freddie now admits to being Mr. Gunks, aka Philly Source moderator for his channel, for crying out loud. Something he didn't divulge to us 8 months ago when this all started. But anyway, I reckon these people are all connected. And a real crazy thing happened yesterday. Our friend Fetish Freddy, and I call him Fetish Freddy because he likes to watch Canada touch himself while they're doing hangouts. It's not my cup of tea, but Each to their own. Who am I to judge? So, yeah, he puts a video up claiming Titus Frost has doxed him, put his name out on the internet, that it was the only thing that he held over him. And he basically confirms that, yes, that's my dox. Now, that's okay. In the comments, somebody puts the comment saying, "Where's the docs so we can see it?" How do we know? And strangely enough, today the docs appears on Liz Cannon's channel after Liz Cannon had a go with China there because China was picking on him, apparently duplicating his Facebook and reverse ISP address engineer and shit and all that other nonsense. And then Tidor, he comes out, he more or less backs up what Liz Cannon has said there. So Liz Cannon puts up the video and announcing Freddie stocks, which I think is outrageous. That just shouldn't be done. But nonetheless, he done it anyway. And they're all having to go with each other and whatnot. And I kind of said to myself, okay, now I'm just an ordinary bloke, okay? And I'm sure many of you in here have had the wee flash thought in their mind, like I've had. Hold on a minute. If somebody put up a dox of me, why on earth would I make a video admitting that it was a dox of me? Would I not just pretend that I never saw it? I certainly wouldn't advertise it for everybody else to see it. I mean, Ferry's got, 1,700 subs. The docs took place on Twitter, so none of us would have seen it. But because Freddie did the video announcing that Titus doxed him, we all found out about it. So who would do that? My gut feeling, I think it's all fake. I think it's all bullshit. I may be wrong, but it just stinks. It's too obvious. It looks like, yeah, you know, Scoop's just done a stream saying we're all working together here. Let's put an end to that narrative, and they all come out fighting against each other, and Freddy's been doxxed, and Liz Cannon's crying because China has been mean to him, and he's reverse IP address engineering shit, and Tidor's off the same hymn sheet and things like that there. And it's just like, it just feels all a wee bit coincidental. And I don't know how any of the rest of you think about that, but I just think they're playing us. It's all drama. And the only reason why I'm talking about it is because I want to point out that it is drama, that it's not actually content, it's not benefiting anybody. Nobody's learning about anything while all this crap goes on. Nobody is learning a thing. And that's what's wrong, as we've said before. While all these people are making all this nonsense, there's no content being made anymore. All the content creators are gone. It's really bad. Like, I mean, even Unirock doesn't really do content. He does a live show, but there's no real. He does a live deep dive type thing, right, where you have to sit and watch 4 hours. There's no real content anymore. You don't see anybody researching, showing the research, backing it up. Like, so what I'm proposing to do on this channel that I'm setting up with Kickstand, a bit of a community channel, is basically, and there'll be a few others involved in that there anyway, at least one more. And well, what I plan to do is, as I'm making the video, whatever research that I've been able to find using the internet, and I don't mean going through other people's videos and crap like that. I mean, trying to find source material for myself and whatnot. I'll set up a paste bin, and basically anything that I have found or have used in the video, and I'm able to link the source. I'll link the source and pastebin, and with every video, that pastebin will be present, so that anybody who watches the video will be able to, you know, see the research, see the source, where I come from, and how I came to my conclusion or interpretation, whatever we want to call it, and people can make their own minds up rather than just me saying three blind mice and you saying, well, they must be blind. No, I'll not be researching flat Earth, but um, you having to take my word for it that they're blind just because I've shown a video of them with dark glasses on or something like that. So the that's the plan now, because and then I hope, I hope that it encourages other people to want to do a wee bit more, because we're all caught up in this bullshit drama like that they are perpetrating upon us. You know, I mean, I the whole thing started out with Dave T and Gunk, and I do think that that was right and justified to call that out for what it is. But ever since then, it's all been about fucking nonsense, basically. It's all been about freaking. I'm getting off YouTube. We had the whole thing with cicada and all the rest of it. Now, here's an interesting thing, folks. If you go to the trademarks, go to the patent office or trademark, is it trademarks? And Google cicada 3301, you'll see it was trademarked in February by a lady from Texas, and it was done out of I think it was it a South Carolina or North Carolina? I'm not too sure whether it's North or South. Law firm. So it's been Cicada has been trademarked and it's down as entertainment, video type thing, apps, crap like that. That's what it's down as. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Cicada app appear at some point. But I thought that was interesting that it was trademarked. But anyway, over the last 6 months, we've all got drawn into this. In fact, it's more than 6 months. It's a very long time. We've got drawn into this circle of nonsense where new characters have been drawn into us, put in front of us for us to gobble up, basically. Like, Denise, like Daddy Washington was another one that was brought in. Um, you know, and the whole time, what they talk about, their content, it's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. And, Washington was about making money, basically. That's what she was about. But, I mean, she caused bedlam as soon as she was here. And then, of course, that's had a whole friggin' chain reaction behind it as well. And the whole community is just the drama community now. We're just an offshoot. I mean, it's not a truth community, it's a conspiracy community. I mean, conspiracy is what brought us all here, folks. Not having trust in our own government, not, having trust in what we're taught, you know. Uh, Now, just so I'll clarify here, I'm not promoting flat Earth. Okay, I don't believe the Earth is flat at all, but I don't believe it's a ball shape either. Uh, what do you call him? What do you call that guy? The black guy, the physicist. Oh, there's so many memes made about him. Like he described it as pear shaped. Uh, he described it as being thicker at the bottom than it is at the top. That's what he described it as. Um, so I don't really know, but I don't think we move. I don't know, but I mean, at the end of the day, what I think about it doesn't really matter because I can't do anything, prove anything, meh. So I'm not really concerned about it. But I'm certainly haven't brought it up to try and promote flat Earth or anything like that. There, I'm just pointing out what I see is going on. I'm seeing channels that never talked about it, that mocked it, and all of a sudden, we're only into Tuesday here, and everybody's talking flat Earth. We're seeing connections being drawn up between Patricia Steer and Magic Kool-Aid. It's a channel I'm not familiar with, but Freddie and OG are good buds with him. They've been on streaming with him a few times. I don't know the guy personally, so I'm not trying to slate the guy or anything. I'm just saying we're seeing videos that are connecting these people together and then tearing them apart where they're against each other. So, I feel like uh, the narrative in this community is all about trying to deceive. That's what oh man, I find this truth community, very deceptive. I don't think anybody's straight anymore. They just don't say what they mean anymore. I think there's a different, you know, they say, uh, and you put it, I was talking about this earlier on with somebody, and, they're a different personality on YouTube as what they are when they're off YouTube. They're very different people altogether, rather than just themselves. And me, I'm just the way I am, the way I would be offline, basically. But finding these people, it's deceptive, and you're going to find, as I said, it's going to be a busy week for me here. Try and get all this up and running and get some videos out there worth putting out and for everybody to watch and whatnot. Um, and as I said, I'll be doing a second channel with Scooby Doo Part Two. Basically, I said this before. For anybody who's come along since, there'll be two channels. There'll be this channel and Scooby Doo Part Two. All the video content will appear on Scooby Doo Part Two, and this channel will remain basically for live streaming only. So it's more or less just trying to protect myself from the old strikes that people like to give us, because a lot of people like to flag the videos all the time for whatever reason. There's a lot of people easily offended in this community. So yeah, that is it. We're seeing the narrative that Freddie and OG have been promoting over the last couple of months start to appear in the mainstream now, where mainstream news. Well, I don't know whether it's a mainstream news channel, but it's a website that's talking about that Paul Logan documentary. and basically, they're outraged. They're complaining about the same stuff as what Freddie is. It's the same narrative, the exact same, except this is a website with like an entertainment news talking about conspiracy theories and how YouTube's not doing enough to protect people. You know, and I find that a wee bit mind-boggling. And it's funny, Toto, just you bringing up the big formula as well. That's another interesting thing that, nobody's ever really, I don't know if anybody has mentioned it, but I don't believe that I've seen it. That, there is people that talk about vaccines and stuff like that there. And would it not be in big pharma's best interest? I mean, is it that outrageous to suggest that these biopharmas and things like that there would set up opposition on YouTube? I mean, does that not make sense that they would do that? I mean, we see it everywhere else in our everyday walk of life. We see opposition everywhere. We all know about Mockingbird and how the media was affected. Um, it we see how the mainstream media is affected. We see how things like the stock market gets manipulated. You know, everything basically ends up being manipulated, and there's always a yin for the yang. So I don't believe it's absolutely outrageous to suggest or assume or work with the idea that you know things like people like things like biopharmas um, would set up opposition on YouTube to um, hold on, Winter. Set up opposition to these conspiracy channels. Winter, I thought about changing my name, so I did. I thought about changing my name. Should have changed my name, um, but I don't know. Maybe I might do a live stream where people can vote on name of my channel. Maybe I'll do that. In fact, that's what I'll do. The next live stream, we'll we'll do a vote for changing for my channel's name, and I'll change my name. I actually like Scoob too. It doesn't have to be Scooby Doo, but I do. I must admit, I do like Scoob. But it's a thought anyway. We'll include that in keeping Scoob or renaming it, and have suggestions, and then you know, um, it doesn't annoy me. Like, to be honest with you, sexy what's it doesn't annoy me. I must admit, so it doesn't. But I did think about it. You're not the first person to say it to me, though. Um, so I mean, my main thing is I want to get beyond all the bullshit. I want to cut through the bullshit with people. Um, if people, people kind of go around YouTube and watch what they watch because it's all there is to watch, basically. In this part of the segment of the community. And I think that if you start putting out some decent, good content, topics that people are actually want to know about, and at the same time, I'm more than open to anybody who's would be interested in helping with research ideas, stuff like that there. Certainly open that door, definitely. Um, but I don't know how long it'll last. I don't know how long I'll be part of it. I don't know because it's not a channel that I think anybody should own. That's the idea behind it. Nobody owns it. And, people come and go, as they say, and hopefully the channel will remain. That's kind of the thinking behind it. And it's something different. It's something new. It's something I don't believe I've seen done on YouTube by anybody. I haven't seen that done by anybody. I have done away with my Discord. There won't be any more Discord at all. And there's just too much bullshit that comes along with it. As much as I do enjoy interacting with people, there's a lot of people do go there for nefarious, um, including a lot of my detractors. I'd probably still call you Toto. Toto. I always think of the wizard when I see your name, Toto. Yeah, I know. Went there about the name. I'll be honest with you, I kind of I wasn't sure whether I was going to bother with YouTube, you know, but after the whole Christmas thing, when I came back from not being well there, the way everything was, it was like, wow, this is what happens when you're not about for a few weeks. Holy crap, total bedlam. But I think Freddie and the boys would miss me if I left because they like my ideas. I know that much. Listen to me. Okay, Toto. I didn't know that. You've taught me something new. Well, yeah, really. I mean, anything that, anytime we're interested in doing a bit of research, no problem. I said everything will be set up. I'll be setting up. It'll have obviously the community channel thing will have an email and whatnot and a hangout. Um, and at the minute, there's just three of us that will have access to it. But if more people wish to, join or whatever, be part of it, so be it. Want to upload content to it that's not bitching about A, B, and C, but actually decent content. And I think it's also a way of trying to get the word about, get the message out to people as well, rather than just one source. So I'm rabbiting on a bit now. Good stuff. Good stuff, really. I haven't really decided what my first topic should be. I've kind of hemmed and hawed what I should talk about. I didn't know whether to take the Freemason stuff to that channel or to just kind of do the Freemason stuff on this channel or what. Um, I don't know a lot about the Freemasons, but from what I have figured out, you really can't just start off with the beginning of the Freemasons. I think you have to go back to the Reformation, basically, and how that come about. Because I was actually reading up about it on things like that, or doing a wee bit of research on it, and the same nonsense when the Reformation happened, right? I mean, the people in power, and I'm not talking about the Pope or anything like that, there, but the, the equivalent of the Pope's opposition, um, seeing the Reformation as the perfect political tool to fight back against the uh, the Vatican, basically, and they weren't really, taken with what the actual message of the Reformation was. They were more interested in using the movement for political gain. I mean, that's back in the 1400s, folks. It's we're now 2019, and the same, it just never changes. The same thing happens over and over again. You know, history repeats itself, and it is important. History is important, Mike. It is important to you know, you don't have to frigging be professor of history and get there, but I think it's important to be able to acknowledge. And one of the things that's very different about our day and age now, if you go back, say, 100 years ago, there, men and women, especially men in, like white collar jobs and things like that, there, they made like memoirs. They kept diaries, and when it came to retirement, they would write memoirs. You know, that sort of thing doesn't really happen anymore. So you've only, you used to be able to refer to, if you wanted to know about a particular figure in history, you could look them up and then you would be able to read their memoirs, their thoughts, their diaries, stuff like that there as a resource. Whereas nowadays, if you want to read up about, say, Saddam Hussein or something like that there, um, I don't know, Piper. I don't know, to be honest with you. If you want to look up someone like Saddam Hussein, I don't know if you're getting memoirs or anything like that, or if you're just having to rely on historical evidence, left behind, what historians say. And as we know, historians, well, they're not always forthcoming with the truth because the victor controls the narrative, basically. They're not going to tell you anything good about the guy. Not saying there was anything good about the guy, but you know what I mean. So everything's electronic now. But I hope to be able to answer that question for you. You see, when you do a wee bit, I was looking at the 3 degrees thing, and the 3 degrees thing, the Freemasons will tell you it's about masonry, and it's basically like an apprentice, you know, then the mason, and then a master mason. That's what the 3 degrees of separation was. That's what they will tell you themselves it is. But people look deeper into it and tell you that there's more to it. Oh, that's just a smokescreen, shit like that. So I don't know. Why do people call Freddie a shill? Um, I would say Freddie's more of a provocateur on this platform. Like, because he's been around for about, I think he's on his 4th year now. And he showed up in Lift the Veil as a moderator. And he was there for quite some time, and he became known as the yin to Lift the Veil's yang. When Lift the Veil got a wee bit out of control, yeah, but he wasn't really noted around the community in 2014. I think it was around about 2015, 2016. When Lift the Veil showed up is when I first came across Freddie. But anyway, um, he when Lift the Veil would get a little bit carried away with himself, or Freddie would be the voice of reason, you know, like a handler, maybe. then they went their separate ways. And Freddie went around various other parts of the community. He would live stream quite a bit with various parts of the community. And near enough every one of those that he's live streamed with, he's burnt in some shape or form, including myself. There is people that, you know, I was led to believe. I don't know if there's anybody in the chat here who can verify that, but I know I was certainly led to believe that OG and Freddie's relationship was pretty new. That he'd come across this guy on Jamie Deluxe and saw his channel, and it was recommended OG by Freddie. Turns out they've known each other a few years. Same way as what whenever Tretch showed up, you know, I thought he kind of turned up out of the blue, but it turned out he knew OG. Him and OG went back a few years. So if him and OG went back a few years, does that not mean him and Freddie and OG went back a few years? These people have all interacted. See, all these channels, they've all been interacting with each other one way or another. And they've actually kept this drama going for the last 3 years now. There's been nothing but drama in a constant rotation by these people. There are many channels involved, one way or another. And then, you know, a few weeks will go past and they'll be the best of buds again and they'll live stream the killer again. You know? So that's why I say they all work together. You know? I say they're all able to contact each other. I mean, as I said earlier on, Freddie didn't divulge the information that he was Mr. Gonk's moderator. He left that bit out. And again, you know, when it came to that video he has, that phone call through Discord or what I think it was, they did it with Mr. Gonk. You know, Freddie was able to reach out and get Mr. Gonk to get in a stream with him, even though Freddie had been outing him and saying all these things about him and whatnot. I mean, it just didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. When the oh dear. Quick, someone write in blue chicken the timestamp that. Oh dear. So yeah, you know, these people have access to each other. They hang out in hangouts, discords. I mean, I told you this before. You know, there was multiple sets of Discord set up each time with one person less on it and another brought in. It was really fucked up. And you know, Freddie did that phone call with Lift the Veil back in January, whenever Jamie Deluxe lost his channel, and he was able to get on. He was able to call him up and Lift the Veil answer it, knowing it's Freddie. And he says he doesn't like Freddie. And you know, you have to ask yourself, would you answer that call? And you have to say no. Oh, he was. He admits to it, Lady Court. We only find that out because Jamie Deluxe called him on. So, you know, And during that phone call, more or less the first thing Lift the Veil talks about, it says, I'm being gang stalked. You and your friends, Scooby Doo. Like, what? I'm gang stalk and Lift the Veil for crying out loud. That he didn't reference anybody else, but he made a point of referencing me, which, you know, just another wee curiosity. So they can all reach out, they can all talk to each other, they all meet up in hangouts offline, behind the scenes, they make little agreements with each other. And that's why we've seen some videos put out in the New Year's where all of a sudden some content creators put out videos about Net for Truth, etc., like that there, because they degrade about it behind the scenes. And then remember the love-in? They called it the love-in. Then it all fell apart. And it's a circle of bullshit that these people are perpetrating upon us constantly. There's no content being made except for the bullshit put out by big ass stupid channels like No More News, etc., Lift the Veil, and whatever other nonsense is out there. I've got to the point now, I don't even watch them anyway. I don't follow them. But that's what it's come, and I want to change that. So that's why myself and Kickstand will be making content for this other channel because we want to change it. We want to end the rut. Uh, you know, a plant doesn't grow out of nothing, folks. It needs a seed. Well, this wee channel is going to be a seed. Simple as that. I've hemmed and hawed about it. And yeah, I'm at the point where things need to change because nobody's getting anywhere. Nobody's learning everything. We're just regurgitating the same stuff. I mean, everybody, I've seen a bit of influx on 9/11 stuff. And while it's an interesting thing for you to watch if you haven't watched it before, but I mean, I've watched them all to death and you know, I can't prove it, obviously, but I don't believe the narrative is as it was told on that day. But nothing new has changed about the whole 9/11 thing in a few years. It kind of reached a peak. It reached a place where it wasn't, apart from the government acknowledging it and doing something about it. And I've seen a wee bit of an influx of people watching that type of content where, we need to start looking at what's happening in front of us now. Look at what's happening and try and disseminate and discern and be honest. At least try and be honest. I mean, if you don't know all the answers, well, there's, nobody's going to freaking condemn you for it. But if you at least make an effort, and that's all you can do. And I feel, give the give the community something that they can kind of take a bit of an interest in. If people want to become involved with it, they can become involved with it. If they don't want to, that's fine. So what was my buddy's name? J Man, you're the person I wanted to ask. What was that Australian guy's name that was harassing me, making the claims about me needle marks in my arms and all, shooting up heroin and shit. I figured he'd be one of your buddies, J-Man. So, what's he called? Tell more truth or tell something. Very peculiar character. He was he introduced himself as a group of people who've been watching me for a while, liked what they saw, and then of course didn't like what they saw. Got a bit funny whenever I wouldn't include him. All right, folks. On that note, um, I'm going to hit the road. So be good. Stay out of trouble. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that, J-Man. So, uh, yeah. All right, folks. Thank you very much for turning up and listening, taking part. Good night. Good evening. God bless. Scooby out.